Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good time today, and sorry for the delay. So I'm going to wait for 5 minutes. So that others can join as well. Then I'll share the links. So if you join the call, just write your name on the chat box. Thank you. Oh, Priska, thank you. Let's wait for a few more minutes so that others can join too.
There's one buzzword.
So we are going to start in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, for the first 3 people, free application review. Only one application, no. Only one. Nafisat, okay. You stay till the end. It's not when you join, you leave the call. So you are going to stay till the end for you to qualify. By the end of the call, I will ask people, those that wrote their name initially. So I'll confirm those that are still in the call. In the next 2 minutes, we are starting. I wonder if there is network issue today. Yeah, good evening. We are waiting for 2 minutes so that others can join as well. Yeah, good evening. Two minutes remaining. You can share the link with your friends. So make sure you get your pen and paper ready. Okay, we are starting now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. So today is the second day of the 5-day scholarship bootcamp. What we'll be talking about today is how to craft a winning SOP and motivation letter. SOP is, a winning personal statement and motivation letter. Personal statement has to do with your okay, I don't want to go into details now. So let me just read out the objective for today's class. So by the end of today's class, you are going to understand the difference between a personal statement and a statement of purpose. You get the difference between these two things. Then you will learn the essential components of a compelling personal statement and statement of purpose. Number 3 is you identify the common mistakes and how to avoid them. Then number 4 objective is that you'll be able to craft your own draft of your personal statement or statement of purpose. So the first thing is, the first topic, we are going to know the difference. What is the difference between personal statement and statement of purpose? So what is the difference? Personal statement, you talk about your background, your experience, your motivations. That's what you talk about in your personal statement. For example, like some scholarships will ask you to write personal statement. Some of them will ask you to write statement of purpose. Some will ask you to write motivation letter. Like tomorrow, we are going to talk about the difference between these three things: statement of purpose, personal statement, motivation letter, so that you don't mix it up. When they ask you to write this, don't go and write the other one. So tomorrow we are going to talk about it. We'll break it down, the difference between these three. But for today, we are looking at what is personal statement. Personal statement, you tell a story about your background, your experience, your motivation, about who you are. What are the things that shaped you to become who you are? How did you get passionate about what you are doing? Like, how did it happen? That's what they want to see in your personal statement. So most scholarships, they use personal statement for admission. Like SOAS, we use personal statement. I read my personal statement in the previous this thing I did about the Dr. Miyamani scholarship. I read the personal statements that helped me to get into SOAS. So most of the time, the normal admission will ask you for statement of purpose. That is for your normal admission, when you're applying for admission, not the scholarship. For the admission, most of the time they will ask you for your statement of purpose. That's for the admission. Then for the scholarship, they will now ask you personal statement. So don't mix up these two things. Statement of purpose is more academic and career related, but personal statement is more of personal, like background, how it shaped you, how, like, what inspired you to do what you're doing. That's what personal statement is all about. So don't go and use your personal statement for your when they ask you for statement of purpose. So statement of purpose, like I said, it is more academic and professional in tone. So the tone which you use to write your statement of purpose is more professional. It's not a personal stuff. Is in also in your statement of purpose, you talk about why you are applying, what are your research interests, what are the how did the program align with your interests, the school, why did you choose the school, how it align with your interests or your career expectations. So in a nutshell, personal statement is more about you and your journey, while statement of purpose is more academic and professional. That's in a nutshell. So what are the components of a winning SOP? Do you know that? Let me tell you the truth. The reason why most people don't get scholarship is because of your personal statement. That's why so many people, they don't get scholarship. How did you write it? You may have a good story, you may have a very good story, but how you wrote it will be the problem. You don't just write it casually. There is what you call hook. You need to create a hook from the beginning. Like, when you create a hook from the beginning, the reader will be compelled to read and read and read till the end. The person will not like to drop the story. Like, use storytelling. When you write your personal statement using storytelling approach, you will discover that so many people will be interested. They'll be interested in listening to what you wrote. They'll be interested in reading it. But if you don't create a hook in the first paragraph, the person will lose interest. Whatever you are saying in the subsequent paragraph does not matter. So if you're writing your personal statement, start with a compelling, like maybe a quote or a fact or something about yourself, like what something that is catchy, that is going to capture your readers attention. That's what you start with. So if you are still following me, just type in an emoji, let me know that you are still following me. If you are still following me, I want to see an emoji if you are still following me. I don't want to be talking to myself, so I need to see your emoji. Okay, one more. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, like I said, create a hook in the beginning. Create a hook. Start with a story. Like one of my personal statements. Okay, let me just read out some of my personal statement, the way I started it. Let me just read out a few of them. I'll read out the one that I used to get into SOAS, then there are other ones that I wrote. Let whatever you're telling, let it be related to that your application. Don't create a hook when it is not related. Maybe you want to talk about flooding, and you're creating a hook that is in food security or another topic that does not link to the flooding. Okay, look at this one. This for my climate mobility fellowship. So when they ask about personal experience, I started it this way. The night rain always brought fear. I remember waking up drenched as floodwater soaked our tiny mattresses on the floor, forcing my family to scoop out water in the middle of the night. Determined to solve this problem, I founded TeamUpcyclers, teaching 5,000 students across Anambra State on climate resilience. And when the flooding worsened, I fled to Abuja. There I met displaced persons who had also witnessed flooding in the past. Expanding my mission to 6 IDP camps, I saw how climate mobility fuels frustration, poverty, and uncertainty. Yet I conquered by rebuilding IDPs through green skills. This just very short, just 100 words. That's what they ask for. But in the beginning, what did I start with? I started with, like, what you are starting with, let it be something that will paint a picture in the head of the person that is reading it. Let it paint a picture. When I started, the night rain always brought fear. I could remember waking up drenched as flood water soaked our tiny mattresses on the floor, forcing my family to scoop out water in the middle of the night. So, what am I trying to talk about? This application is for climate mobility. Now, I'm talking about my personal experience with flooding and my personal experience with climate mobility, how the flooding forced me to flee from my home to look for another place. So, depends on what you are writing on. Let the hook you are creating in the beginning, let it be related to that topic you are writing on. Let me go to the application I used for SOAS, my personal statement for the scholarship. Let me go to that and read the beginning. So I'm trying to open it. Okay, I'm there. This for my SOAS application. So they said personal statements. Where's the question? Okay. So how this one is that they first of all ask for financial need, then the next question is personal statement. So I created the hook from the financial need before I now focus on what I've written before, and then I continued in the personal statement. So I'm going to read the first paragraph I used for the financial need. I'm using the first paragraph. Let me read it out now. So I want to make you to understand that if you want to write something that will catch people's attention, create a picture, paint a picture for them. When they are reading it, they will be picturing that event. That's how you can get their attention. Okay, I'm reading it now. They say bad things come in threes, but for my family, it continues to manifest in different ways. It all began in 2008 in Adamawa State, Nigeria, a once multi-religious, tolerant state. Kill them, burn them, infidels, were the chants ricocheting across the silent, bloody night as my family of 8 raced across the stony pavement in the dead of the night. Our dreams shattered as we were stripped of our possessions. As refugees, we fled to the abyss of our village in Ugwagede with only the clothes on our back, forfeiting a life we once knew. My father faced a harrowing journey when he, unable to erect a dwelling place, led us to find refuge in my maternal home and remained a mere church security guard till his death in 2021, while our sustenance arrived in the form of food donations and alms from our compassionate priest. So this is my first paragraph. If you are the person that is judging this essay, that is marking the application, the first paragraph alone has painted a picture. You won't like to drop the essay, you would like to read it to the end. That's one thing about creating a hook. So what matters most is how did you start your personal statement? That's what matters most. Let me tell you the truth, I've been a teacher for like 5 or 6 years now. Whenever I'm marking student essay, if I read the beginning, the first paragraph, if I enjoy it, not just paragraph, like the first sentence or let's say the first paragraph, if I enjoy it, I'll read it to the end. If I read the beginning and I do not enjoy what I'm reading, I've already lost interest. I'll skip other ones or I'll just scan through it. I won't be interested in the topic again. So your ability to capture your reader's attention lies in your first introduction. So make sure you give the best in the first introduction. That's what matters the most. You can see how I painted a picture of the crisis in the north, how we came back to the east. Then from the remaining part of the story, you hear every other thing. So for today's class, I'm talking about personal statement, statement of purpose. I've compiled all my personal statements that I've used to get scholarships and those that I got interview stage, like the Erasmus, the MasterCard, I got to interview stage. Those personal statements, I compile them into a book as well. So those of you that have been telling me to give you my SOAS personal statements and hardship essays, this is the opportunity for you to get it. Only 5 USD. If you're interested in getting it after this call, you send me a DM. So all my personal statements for all the scholarships I've gotten so far, the fellowships, all the personal statements I use, I compile all of them into a book. So if you're interested in getting it, you send me a DM, 5 USD. I'm not selling it very expensive because I know how much time it took me to draft out this. And the ones I'm putting up here are the ones that got me the opportunity, not the ones I did not get. So the ones that got me the opportunity. So you can know how to structure your own when you're applying for such things. So let's move on to the next point. So like I said, you should start by creating a hook in your introduction. Then the body. Not just the introduction is very important to capture your reader's attention. Then the next thing is the body of the personal statement, or okay, we are talking of personal statement now. Yeah, the body. Highlight your experiences that shaped your passion and skills. What are the things that inspired you to do what you are doing? What are those things that inspired you? So when I want to introduce how I started TeamUpcyclers, I share the story of flooding. I talk about how climate change caused flooding and how waste management, like Nigeria has waste management issues. People dump their refuse in the gutters and it blocks the waterways and end up causing flooding because the water can no longer flow. And from the story of flooding, I now talk about when I saw the problem, I decided to look for a solution. I started asking questions, doing research. That was how I came up with Team Upcyclers. We started upcycling waste into wealth. So we are not just solving the problem of flooding, we are also solving the problem of um, like helping people to create wealth from waste, people that are economically disadvantaged. So you see the link between the story and like the problem and the solution. That's what will help you to win if you are really interested in winning scholarship this year. You must be a storyteller. Like if you become a storyteller, you see that telling stories is always sweet. Like you enjoy telling stories. So tell the story, share your experience. How did you do it? What is the motivation behind this thing you are doing? Let them hear it. If you are doing let's say girl child advocacy, you are trying to fight for GBV, let your story be related to GBV. Maybe you have faced gender-based violence in the past, or maybe someone has abused you in the past, and then that experience now inspired you to start working on this sector, and now you want to study gender studies. Did you see the link? So make sure that whatever you are telling, the story you are telling, let it be connected to that thing you are writing on. I'm not using the same story for all my applications. If I'm writing about displacement, I will tell a story related to displacement. If I'm talking about food security, I will tell a story related to food security. For example, now my PhD application, which I'm trying to do some research on climate change and agricultural sector. Climate change, economics, agriculture. That's my research for my PhD application. So whatever story I'm telling there, I link it up to climate, how it affects the agricultural sector, and the agricultural sector is the biggest contributor to the Nigeria GDP. And Nigeria is one of the countries that is vulnerable to climate change. I get the statistics from Food and Agriculture Organizations, United Nations. I got the statistics there. So whatever I'm saying, I'm backing it up with proof. I'm showing you the evidence, citations. When you go there, you see, oh yeah, this actually happened. Now, start telling the story how climate change, heavy rainfall, drought, whatever I'm focusing on, how it causes food insecurity. Now, Nigeria is facing food crisis because the prices of food is going up. There is a high rate of food insecurity. And what does it affect? The economy, because agricultural sector is one of the biggest contributors to Nigeria GDP, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. I cite it. Then when you get there, you see the link, you see, this is actually true. Now, tell me why you are not going to give me the PhD when I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to do some research to see how to help these farmers to mitigate climate change crisis, to help them get the support they need, both institutional, economic support they need to be able to build resilience to climate change so we can sustain our economy. We can sustain the momentum, because agriculture is creating job opportunities. I think it creates like 70% of the Nigerian labor force comes from the agricultural sector. So that's by the way. Let me move to the next point. So in the body of the essay, also talk about how you overcome those challenges. Don't just like if you are sharing your personal challenge. Remember, we are talking of personal statement now. If you are sharing your personal challenges, how did you overcome this challenge? This is one of the things I was able to prove in my own essay when I talked about how, like in the personal statement for SOAS, when I talked about hardship, all the difficulties I faced, how we were begging for food, beg for food before we go eat food. Like, all those things are real. They are not, I'm not joking, all those things are real. Like, if I want to write essay, personal statement like this, I write it from my heart, from my experience. Those are not made up stories. They are all real stories that actually happened. Now, in the face of these difficulties, what did I do? I was able to graduate college as the best student. I was working full time. Did you see? I'm sharing the struggles now. I was working full time. I was going to lectures, only afternoon lectures. I miss lecture twice in a week. I don't go to lecture 2 times in a week. I go only 3 times. Nigeria will attend lectures 5 times in a week. I go to lecture just 3 times. I miss all the morning classes, only the afternoon classes. Those are the classes I attend. And what did I get? My boss then, sometimes he would surcharge me if I did not take permission from him. It's not like I have two bosses. When I take permission from one, I did not take from the other one. He will get angry, he will surcharge me. He has surcharged me twice because I went to lecture. And not only that, I was going to lecture on an empty stomach. I don't eat food. And one thing about me then, the little money I have, I used to go to school. I begged for alms to get that money. Yeah, in the church after mass, I'll pray, I'll tell God, please show me who I'm going to beg money. Anybody that my spirit tell me, go and beg this person money, I'll go and meet the person. Please, I have lecture today, I don't have money to go to school. Someone give me 200, 500. If you see me that time, like, I'm always in the church. Some people thought I was living in the father's house because I'm always there. I'll wash father's car, wash the toilet. What did I not do? I did so many things. Toilet 2 times in a week, 3 times in a week. Sometimes I wash toilet, wash car, wash clothes, iron clothes. I'm doing all those things happily. Some people would think I'm living in the father's house. I'm not living in the father's house. But then if I have lecture, sometimes I'll tell father, please, I have lecture, I don't have money to go. Sometimes he'll give me 500, sometimes 200. When I carry the money, I go to school. I did not eat food in the morning, no. When I get to school, what happens? My friends, I'll buy snacks, all of us will eat it together. Some of them will think that I have money. That's what used to confuse people because I used to bring things and share with my friends. So some of my friends would think I have money. That's what they're thinking about me. I have money, I'm working, I have money. But that's not the truth. Giving does not has to do with having money. Most of the time, the people that give are the people that don't even have. But when you see them, you think that these people, they have money, they have money. That's not the truth. So what am I trying to say? I shared all these stories in my essay. But one thing about essay is that you have to learn how to be concise. Like people like me, when I start telling stories, I used to exceed the word count. I used to exceed the word count. Then I'll start cutting. I did so many things. I did bead making. I make bead, I sell it just to get money. How much was my salary? 8,500 naira. I have to save it up to pay my school fees. I was able to pay my school fees throughout the university. I don't even have money to buy textbook. Before I buy textbook, I'll beg for money. And my year one that I got 5.0 GPA, I did not have a single textbook. I don't know how I was able to get that GP. I don't have any textbook. It's only 3 textbooks that they gave us in school. I did 9 courses. I had 3 out of the 9 textbooks. But I was able to get 5.0 that year one. So before other things happened, and then my GP now came down to 4.48. Though so many things that happened were not actually my fault, but then there is nothing I can do about it. I was still the best graduating in my set because that was the time all our grade wiped out, all our test scores. So they had to judge us with only exam. That was when all the GPs came down very, very much. Then my this thing, my research work also brought down my GP. But that's by the way. So when you share the story of your struggle, show them how you overcame this struggle. That was what I was able to show. After all the struggles, I was still able to graduate as the best student in my class. Then what was the next thing I did after I graduated? I started building my social enterprise, which is TeamUpcyclers. And then I have some vision, some plans for this TeamUpcyclers. So include your future goals, your future plans. If you have made any impact, if you have done projects, you have touched people's life, include it. Then talk about your future goals, your future aspirations. I want to build a school, vocational, technical institute where I'll train people on sustainability, waste management, recycling, blah, 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 blah. I want to do some research, become an independent researcher. So share your future plans. Those are the things you share in personal statements. Now, yeah, moving to statement of purpose. We just finished talking about personal statement. So now we're talking about statement of purpose. If you are still following me, let me see your emoji. I'm waiting. If you are still following me, send an emoji. Let me see your emoji in the chat. Okay, that's good. Remember what I said? If you need to get a copy of all my personal statements, SOPs, scholarship essays, only $5, you get it. Both the SOAS own, all of you are telling me, give me your SOAS SOP, give me your SOAS SOP. I don't want to share it before, but now I'm just trying to help because I've used it to get into SOAS. I'm not going to eat it. I'll not do anything with it. I've already gotten into SOAS, so why hold it? That's why I decided to give it out. But I'm not giving it out free, so that when you get it, when you pay the money and get it, you value whatever information is there. And everything I'm sharing are the SOPs, essays that got me into the program. The one of MasterCard, I got to interview stage. So what it disqualified me was the interview, not the write-up. The write-up got me to that stage. The one of Erasmus, it got me to that stage. So what disqualified me was the interview as well. So I'm putting up all these things. So moving to statement of purpose. In statement of purpose, briefly introduce in the beginning. Remember, you still have to create a hook. Create a hook in the beginning. Introduce yourself and your motivation for choosing the field. Did you see the difference? Personal statement was about your personal background, hardship or abundance, whatever you are facing in your life, you know what you are facing. But statement of purpose, introduce yourself and your motivation for choosing that course or the field, whatever you want to study. Then after the first paragraph, the next paragraph, you talk about your educational qualifications, your research work, your professional experience. These are the things you share in the next paragraph. So if you have done your BSc, you talk about it, include your grade. If you have done some professional work in that field, you talk about it. Then talk about your research interests, your career goals, what you want to study. Why do you want to study this? How does it align with your long-term goals? Then, why did you choose this particular institution? You have checked other institutions that may be better than this. So why did you choose this particular one? Mention some professors, some courses, some research facilities. These are the things you are going to talk about in your statement of purpose. We didn't mention this in the personal statement, right? So these are the things you talk about in the statement of purpose. Then, how do you intend to contribute? What are you contributing when you come to the school? How do you intend to contribute to the school? And what are your plans for the future as well? Okay, let me give an example for introduction for the SOP, an example of introduction. Okay. With a background in environmental science and hands-on experience in waste management, I'm eager to explore sustainable solutions to urban pollution. The Masters in Environmental Engineering at, you mentioned the name of the university, will provide the expertise that I needed to drive impactful change in my country. So this is just an example. So if you need to get the full details, then you have to get this book I'm talking about. You have to get it. So what are the common mistakes you have to avoid? This is where people are making mistake. You got a template. And what you did is you just changed the name of the person, change the course name. I've seen this so much. I remember giving someone my CV as a guide. You know what the person did? He just changed my name. All the places I mentioned my course, changed the course. This is generic. I mean, why will you do that? You are just changing a few things. That's not the right thing to do. That's whatever you get or the template you get is just like a guide. It's like a guide. You have to think outside the box. You have to do better than that one you have. You have to show that you are better. So being too generic, don't be too generic. Do something differently from what others are doing. Or some of you that will use ChatGPT and write personal statement. You just copy the thing, put it in ChatGPT. Write a personal statement for me in my application to SOAS University of London, Masters in Economics. You put it there. Do you know what ChatGPT will do? It will give you the same personal statement or SOP that it will give to another person. That's what it will give to you. There was a time I tried it with my friend. We were doing one application. We used ChatGPT. Different locations. We used ChatGPT, and what we got nearly similar write-up. Like the difference is just, the similarity is like 98%. The difference will be like 2%. So imagine if I submit it and the person submit it. What happens when the person that is judging it will bring it? The person will know that all these things are ChatGPT. One of my lecturers was saying that in the class, that one of the assignments we wrote, there is one particular question. She said that almost everybody wrote the same thing. Where did we get the information from? Almost everybody. That's what we call generic. Almost everybody wrote the same thing. It means that there is a source of that information, and that source will be what? ChatGPT. So if you are using ChatGPT, teach ChatGPT to think. Use it wisely. Don't allow ChatGPT to think for you. It will give you the same thing it gives to everybody. And also avoid all this. I have always been passionate about doing this. There is a way you will say that thing to be creative. Like creativity in writing. When you write something creatively, it will make a difference. Even if you are telling the same story that another person told, if you put creativity into your own write-up, it will make you to stand out. Always try to use storytelling. Paint a picture in your writing. When the person is reading it, the person is putting up imaginations, that's going to make your writing to stand out. Then another mistake you have to avoid is focusing too much on your personal struggles without connecting them to the goals. Like when I talked about my own, I didn't just stop at the struggle. I showed the end product of those struggles. So if you're talking about struggle, that was one mistake I was making then, 2022, when I started applying. I'll talk about struggle. I mixed up a lot of things. Personal statement, SOP. They will ask me SOP. I'll write personal statement because I don't know the difference between the two of them. So don't focus too much on your personal struggle. When you talk about it, connect it, show. That's what I talked about, STAR method. STAR method, situation, task, action, result. So anything you are writing, let it have these 4 elements. The STAR, let it have the 4 elements. The situation is maybe the problem or the difficulties, whatever you pass through. The task, what should be done in this situation? The action, what did you do in that situation? And the result. One secret about STAR method is that make sure your result is positive. Don't end with a negative result. Don't end with negative results. So you have to learn it. If you are telling a story using the STAR method, let the end result always be positive to show how you conquered that situation and what you achieved. Then the next one is poor structure and lack of clarity. like when you are mixing up everything, maybe first paragraph you talk about your background, second paragraph you talk about your academic, third paragraph you talk about your personal struggle, fourth paragraph you come back to academic. So if you are talking about personal stuff, let the personal stuff talk about all of them. If you want to move to academic, know that you have moved to academic. Let it be academic, academic. If you want to move to career, then you start talking of career. Don't mix up, like maybe in the first paragraph you mention something related to your background, your studies, your career in the first paragraph. Next one again, you mix it up again. Don't mix up everything. Separate it. Your personal, your academic, your career or work or future plan. Separate it when you are writing it. When you finish writing on this, you move to the next one and use linking words. There is what we call linking words. Let me give an example. Maybe I stopped my first paragraph. Okay, let me use my essay as an example. I want to use my essay as an example for these linking words that I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So my first paragraph, let me read the last sentence in my first paragraph, and then I'll show you how I linked it to the next paragraph. That's what we call linking words. My last sentence for the first paragraph, I said, my father faced a harrowing journey when he, unable to erect a dwelling place, led us to find refuge in my maternal home and remained a mere church security guard till his death in 2021, while our sustenance arrived in the form of food donations and alms from our compassionate priest. This is the last sentence in my first paragraph. Now look at how I started the second paragraph. I started it with, in the face of all these adversities, I graduated college with a symbol of victory, the best student award from my town. So, did you see how I linked it? I said, in the face of all these adversities. Remember that I shared my adversities in the first paragraph. You can also use other words. You can say, despite these challenges. So, let it be something that link, like create a link. Let it not just be a jump. Okay, assuming I finished telling the first story, and then I came to the second paragraph and I started it with, I graduated college with a symbol of victory. It sounds somehow like there is no link. Wetin concern the background you shared and the college you graduated, wetin concern am? So create a link, transition into the next paragraph using these linking words. Transition into the next paragraph with the linking words. Okay. The next one, when I ended the first one, when I ended the second paragraph, I defied all odds and emerged as my family's first graduate and became a global citizen. How did I move to the third paragraph? I said, my greatest desire is to further my education through an MSc in economics. But this desire has been brought to a halt once again due to financial constraints. So now I'm telling them how I desire to do the masters, but then financial constraints has come again to stop me from doing it. Then there are other linking words that you can also use, like furthermore, moreover, also, despite, all those things are linking words. Just make sure that your transition is smooth. Let it not be a jump. And what can you do after all this? I don't know if you guys do check your grammar. There are some apps you can use to check your grammar. It will correct, it will point out all the grammatical errors, correct it. If you are writing a scholarship essay, SOP, personal statement, don't use grammatical blunder. Make sure you check it, read it, reread it, read it over and over and over again. Give it to somebody to read it for you. Check the grammar. If you don't know how to use ChatGPT very well, you can use it to check grammar also, correct the grammar of what you wrote. The only thing is that sometimes when you use ChatGPT to correct grammar, if you put it to dictate AI content, if you dictate it as AI, even if it's what you wrote, you just use it to correct the grammar, it can dictate it as AI. But it's also helpful. You can use it to correct the grammar. Maybe you are done writing, you can put it there, tell it, okay, correct the grammatical errors, restructure it properly to flow logically and coherently. When you are done, you get the output. You can still rewrite it again if you restructure it with ChatGPT, but that's your write up, right? You can bring it out, then rewrite it again. By then you have gotten a better structure to make it to flow very well properly. You have gotten a better structure. You put some touches, rewrite it some, put some extra touches to it, so it will not flag it as AI. Then you put it in grammar checker, use it to check the grammar, correct all the grammatical errors. If you are asked to do some certain word count, go to word counter, put it there, check the word count, make sure it does not exceed the word count. If you exceed word count, there are some penalties for that, but you don't know. You wan show dem say you sabi book, you over sabi. No do over sabi o. You have to write what they ask you to write, the number, the word count they ask you to write. Then what's the next thing you can do after checking the grammar? If it's character, some people mistake character for word count. If they tell you 500 characters, 1000 characters, check the character. You can use word counter to check it as well. Then the next thing to do is what? Make sure what you are writing, whether your SOP or your personal statement or motivation letter, make sure you tailor it to that particular scholarship. I'll give you an example. In SOAS now, we have the Hyundai Motor Scholarship now. There are some expectations that they want to see. There are some things they want. Make sure that the content of what you're writing, you tailor it to that particular stuff, that particular organization. Make sure you tailor it to it very well. If you're applying for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, there are some expectations they want. Make sure you tailor it to the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship expectations. Don't come and be writing off point for them. Even if you are making sense, if it does not concern what they want, Mastercard, like, they like people that their course, we have a link to development, climate. So read the requirement, read everything, read it over and over and over. Make sure everything you're writing is in line with what they want. If you give them what they want, you get the scholarship. That's just the truth. If you are applying for something related to business, show them the business aspect. Put a little bit of hardship when you apply for scholarship. Let me tell you what happened to me in 2023. I applied for Lason Torres Business School Scholarship in 2023. Sorry. I applied for Lason Torres Business School Scholarship in 2023. The scholarship, they needed only one person in Africa, and is attainable in I think in Barcelona University or whatever. Forgotten the name of the university. I was busy telling them my business ventures because it has to do with business school. I was sharing all my business related projects that I've done. And I did not share my hardship story. You know what I carry? I carry second position. They gave me 50%. Maybe they feel like this girl get money, you can take care of the remaining balance. And person wey don show dem say she dey broke, dey carry first position give am. So as you are doing your over sabi, e dey show say you sabi work, you sabi business. Make sure you are showing your background, say you dey poor, you dey broke, make dem know say you dey broke. No go carry all your strength dey show dem say you get money, you get money. I was sharing business that is not even giving me any revenue. But because of packaging, now you have to package the business. The business will look big, packaging. I package and finish. Tell them inside they do 3 businesses. I'm doing the recycling, I'm doing shoemaking, I'm doing liquid soap, blah 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 blah. I even gave all the business different names, and I share it finish. I did the first stage, I moved to the next stage, written work again, we wrote it. I moved to the next stage again, exam, we wrote exam. These people were interested in me. When I was writing this exam, I was panicking. The things that I know, my head went blank. I don't know what I wrote. And they messaged me. They're interested in me. They messaged me that I should retake the exam. It is not done anywhere. They asked me wetin happen, like me wey sabi maths. Why? I don't even know what I did that day. Like, I was tensed. So when I retook the exam, they told me that my score for the mathematics part increased very well, because when I retook it, I saw that this thing is very simple. Like, I don't think I failed up to 2 things or 3 things when I retook it for that maths part. But I'm not an English person, so I cannot vouch for the English part. I may even perform worse in the second one. The English, I'm doing it tumbum tumbum. So I'm not very smart in that English part. So, but I think I do better in maths. So that was it. I retook the exam. Then the next stage again, they invited me for interview. First interview. I did the interview. Again, I got another invite. Second interview. They now told me that we are remaining 2. That was when I know it was only 1 slot. I don't know it was 1 slot. And then I got a show off now as a business person. They share my business experience, blah, 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 blah. And they told me, wow, wonderful. I should be expecting a good news. If you see me that time, I don't dey pack my bag, so I dey go Spain. These people come serve me breakfast. That breakfast broke my heart, guy. Break my heart. It broke me into pieces. I've never been that broken. So, but that's by the way. I didn't travel in 2023 again. But here I am. I'm in a better place now. So what's the next thing? Okay. I'm going to give everyone in this call an assignment. Go and draft your own personal statement or SOP or whatever. What are the questions you ask yourself when you are writing this? What are the personal experiences that influenced you for your career choice? Why did you choose this career? Why? What are the experiences that shaped your perspective, that made you to see things the way you are seeing it now? Do you know how I link up my background to my course in economics? I told them that my background made me to start, like when you are facing a lot of scarcity, you start thinking of how to do what to manage, how to manage the little resources you have. So when I now look for a course that I can study that is related to effective management of resources in scarcity, that was how I discovered economics, because economics has to do with scarcity and how to effectively allocate scarce resources. Did you see the link from my background to economics? You have to show that link so that it will not be like you just did the course. Any course will come your mind, you just do am. Show a link. Then what are the skills, other extracurricular activities you have done? What are the skills? And then how will this opportunity, this master's or this PhD or undergraduate, whatever you're applying for, how will it help you to achieve your long-term goals? Always include your long-term goals. Some time ago, I would say I want to become the Minister of Environment. But these people broke my heart. They're not going to give me environmental scholarship. when, when I want to become a Minister of Environment, all my scholarships in climate change, environment, all of them, they refuse to give me. They don't want to make I become Minister of Environment. So now that I'm doing economics, I have another career plan. Depending on your course, your career plan will not be the same thing for all the courses. So depend on the course you are doing. That should determine your career plan. Are you doing economics? Are you doing environmental? Are you doing health, whatever? let your career plan be related to that thing you are doing. So after that, the next thing is recommendation letter. But recommendation letter will be story for another day. We are not touching recommendation letter today. I will do a separate training for that. So tomorrow we are going to look at the difference between this. Okay, I've talked about personal statement and SOP today. So tomorrow I'll talk about motivation letter. We'll now compare these three things. You'll see the differences between the three of them. So I hope that by now everybody must have understand clearly what an SOP is and what a personal statement is and how you can write yours. So if you have any question or comment, I want to see it in the chat box. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please, as you're listening now, just click the subscribe button, subscribe. Then for yesterday's class, I've compiled all the scholarships. I categorized it into need-based scholarship, merit-based scholarship, research-based scholarship, government scholarship, undergraduate scholarship, master scholarship, research scholarship, and I put the link to all the scholarships. All the scholarships, everything are there. This book is 17 pages and I'm giving it out for just 5 USD. So if you're interested, you send me a DM and get your copy. 17 pages, 5 USD. That's so poor. But because I know that students, you're trying to get money, you're trying to get scholarship, you don't have money, that's why I kept it at that rate. So whatever I'm doing, like, it's like a charity work. At least when someone pay money to get it, they will value it. But when you give it out free of charge, people don't value free things. So the money is not the value of what are the information. The information is of higher value. The money is for you to commit yourself. When you know that, oh, I paid 5 USD to get this, then you'll be serious about it. And one good thing about the book is that there is nothing like side distraction. Like those of us in the WhatsApp group, maybe you want to look for scholarship, you come online, we are gisting, sometimes we gist, sometimes. So jack of all trade, master of none. And we don't just work. Sometimes we also have some kind of refreshing entertainment, you just have small fun and then continue the work. So you may get lost in the midst of conversation. You can't find the scholarships you want to apply for. That's why you need this book. If you want scholarship matter, just go there. You know that yet all the scholarships are here. And not just the ones that are open this year. All the scholarships are there. The website, direct website to the scholarship. So even if you miss out this academic session, you want to apply for it next academic session, you still go back to that same book, click the link. It will take you to the original website, not the one you start looking at, looking for where to apply. No. So this will help you to be focused. If you are prepared to get a scholarship this year, don't miss this book. You know that, yes, this is your scholarship diary. You keep it handy. Anytime you want to apply for scholarship, you go there, go through it, the pages, get the one you want to apply for, and then you see the strategies, the definitions, everything, you apply for it. Then for today's class, I said I'm sharing my SOP. I'm giving it away. It is a giveaway. Yeah, $5 is a giveaway because this is something that took me 2 years to get to where I am. All those experiences are what I put together, and I'm giving it out for 5 USD. So if you're interested, you send me a DM. So tomorrow we'll be differentiating the motivation letter from the SOP personal statement. Next week or the upper week, depending on when I fix it, we are going to talk about recommendation letter. One of the things that is making you not to get scholarship is your recommendation letter. If you don't know it today. You come and write it, to whom it may concern. Who is to whom it may concern? That story for another day. We'll talk about it later. Then I also on Thursday we'll be talking about our CV. What you have in your CV is also very important to determine if you are getting a scholarship or not. I remember that time I finished secondary school, you go to cyber cafe, they will do CV for you. They will bring one CV, edit it, remove the name, put your name, remove age, put age. I'm sure some people are seizing that kind of CV. We have passed that era. You need to see CV. When you see CV, you know that CV dey. Then on Friday, we'll do the research, proposal, and study plan for those that want to go into research. Some of us are already doing some research work, so if you like to expand that area, we'll talk about it on Friday. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any question, I'll be willing to answer your question. You can drop it on the chat box. But if you don't have a question, then if you're happy about this class, I want to see your smiling emoji. I want to see your smiling emoji. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. The first 3 people, I want to see your names again, because some people will come early, they will disappear. At the end of the class, they will come back. So write your name. Let me know that you are still here. If you have not joined the WhatsApp group, Telegram, Instagram, all the links are in this YouTube channel. Try and do so. I'm just seeing one emoji. It's only one person that enjoyed the class. I'm just seeing one person. Okay. The first 3 people, can you write your name again? I need to see your name. Priska. Okay. Is it only Priska? Where is Nafisat? I'm not seeing Nafisat here. I'm not seeing Honey Samurai. Celestine, you are not among the first 3 now. Why are you writing your name again? I said the first 3 people should write their name. The first 3 people are Priska, Nafisat, and Honey. I don't know who is Honey, but I'm not seeing them again. It's only Priska that stayed till the end. Okay. Other people have run away. They just came and write their name and run. So for today's class, it's only Priska that won the application review. Chisom, you are not among the first 3 now. Look at when you wrote something. You are like number 6 or so, or number 5. You're not among the first 3. So if you want to win the application review, come tomorrow, join the class early, be among the first 3, and stay till the end. So for today now, it's only Priska that stayed till the end. 2 other people are not here. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the WhatsApp group. Subscribe, and I want to see those that will get the book. If you get the book, you can also get a free application review. I'm ending the call now. Bye.